This particular class we want to take, it's very, very important. And I mentioned earlier that I've taken this class and I've used it as a seminar. I've used it to talk about things because I observed that most of the marriages, most of the challenges marriages face stem from this particular class, this particular discussion, the flow of discussion. And if actually you are able to manage this area of our discussion to be very sincere with you, it will help you a great deal. And I said that most of the time when I want to start this discussion, I usually start by sharing a story. I start by sharing a story, and I know some of the story I want to share here is something that some of us are familiar with, especially if you have listened to my session before, either in the seminar or when I'm taking postmarital sections or seminar in marriage and all that. Why I said this is because if some of us can take time to actually understand these dynamics, and I will try as much as possible to make it interactive if it is possible, but I just wanted to please try and flow with me because I have with time understood that many of us just take this area of our discussion, we've taken it lightly, and we felt it doesn't really matter, and then it affects our marriages, it affects us, and this whole thing starts from now. And yes, start from now. Now that you are not yet married, or now that you are married and your marriage is still very young, this is the time where we have to be very, very, very deliberate, right? Very, very deliberate. So let me start with the story first, and I'll talk about the topic of the discussions of the flow of our discussion, right? All right. So this is a story of someone that two people in a particular organizations were employed, and they were employed at the top level, at the top level. One employed as the ED, and then the other one is the either the deputy ED or something, executive director, and then assistant executive director. So that is to understand, and the level that these people were brought in. All right, now they did interview, and both of them are qualified. So they brought in the first one as the executive director. Then the second was the deputy executive director. All right, so now each of these had some allowances, had some benefits, as it were. Some of the benefits is that they give them an apartment, right? Apartment in a very good place, a very, very noble and a very serene environment. So both of them were given. All right. So by the time they both of them were supposed to come in and they were supposed to assign that the apartments to them, the executive director delayed his resumption for a week or thereabout, or 2 weeks. Yeah. 2 weeks or a month thereabout, while this other person actually went. And then he knew he was coming in as deputy executive director. And so they asked that he should pick out of the two apartments, he should pick one and all that. So the two apartments were close to one another. The other one was facing this side, the other one faced, but both are duplex and both are very powerful, big environment. All right. So the assistant or deputy executive director picked one, right? And then after a while, he moved in, and then the whole place looked so serene, beautiful, and they have a garden. It made it so presentable, so beautiful, and all that. All right, so the executive director came in and they showed him the place that they left for him. So he moved into the place where it was given to him. After a week, the executive director started complaining that he didn't like what the organization did. I mean, why didn't they wait for him or call him to come and pick that the deputy executive director picked the best apartment. I've looked at his own environment. The flowers were well greened, every place well okay. That he doesn't like that. I would rather prefer to pick the place that the deputy executive director picked while and all that. So, it was like a little tension, and then the executive director make a case out of it. So the company now appeal to the deputy executive director that, please, is it possible for you guys to swap? You go to this other one and all that. But the deputy executive director says, look, I understand what I did. I know my position. And the place I gave this man is the place that will be fit in and all that. That was why he picked the second one. The man said, because of the way it is, that he would rather prefer to pick that other place and all that. So he said, okay, no problem. If that is what you want, they now swapped. So the executive director now moved to the place they gave the director. The deputy executive director swapped with the executive director and all that. So the executive director was now happy that his own lounge looked better, spacious, the gardens look greenish and all that. Now, the deputy executive director, remember, he moved in earlier. He moved in and then he started the lawing. He started the whole clearing and cultivating and all that. And then suddenly, after a week or two, the place that the executive director was given, that is swapped, the place that is swapped with, the deputy executive director actually worked on it and make it far, 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 far better than the place that he was living before. And after a while, the executive director started complaining that, no, this place, they need it and all that. Now, what happened was that the deputy executive director actually was the one that spent time to cultivate the garden. The garden was not the way it was. It was a lit place and all that. It was not as, but he spent a lot of time to actually work on the house, work on, excuse me, the garden. He spent most of his times and resources to actually work on that place that made it beautiful. The other one where the executive director was given, nobody has worked on it. So he felt that the place they worked on was given to the guy like that. So he took position, not knowing that the place that the guy left, he saw that there was a place where we naturally watered the place. Where he was, he used hose. But this other place that belonged to the executive director that is swapped already have that facility in that particular place. So he did also again cultivated and did a lot of lawning, a lot of work on the garden, and the place looked so beautiful, far, far better than the one that he left. And this story that I just shared with you actually talk about how our marriage actually looked like. How our marriage actually looked like. Most of the time, what happens in most marriages today is that we compare our garden, our own garden, the other people's garden with our own garden. You feel that the other person's garden is far, far better. You feel that those people, that place, if they have the same opportunities that you have, that it will better. Not knowing that the garden that we're talking about, somebody actually cultivated it. Somebody actually spent time to make it beautiful. The deputy executive director was the one that literally worked on that space, the house, work on the whole place and make it so beautiful. The man called director, the executive director thought that this thing just happened. No, it doesn't just happen. Somebody literally worked on it. This is how our marriage is all about. We have to spend time to cultivate. So I'll just be talking with us today about cultivating a strong marriage. Cultivating a strong marriage. That is our flow of discussion today. Please take note of this. I said cultivating. Listen, every home requires cultivation. Every requires cultivation. If you don't cultivate your marriage, you will not get the best out of it. In other words, it's just a simple principle that garbage in, whatever things you give into your marriage, what you get out of it. And the truth there is that if you leave your garden, if you leave your marriage just like that, without being deliberate, the word cultivation will require a deliberate attempt, right? A deliberate attempt. This is not a time where you just wish things to happen. This is a time where you make things happen. This is the time where actually this marriage you are going into, like I have mentioned earlier, you need to sit down and ask yourself this question. What is the vision? What is the philosophy of your life? This is what this guy did. What do I want to see in this garden? The deputy executive director sat down and literally went in there. I excavated. Excavate means to actually remove stones. So in some places, there are some stones that have been planted in the garden. So your life as it is presently is not a perfect life. So don't assume that, oh, you have the best home training, you have the best upbringing. No, listen, every one of us, we are made up of three things. And I want us to please take note of it before I'm just trying to lay a very foundation here, because this is where marriages are being affected. Yeah. All of us, we are made up of these three things. Number one, we are being influenced by our environment. Yeah, it influence us. Then there's what we call significant emotional experience. Significant emotional experience. Yeah. Some people will say adverse experience, childhood adverse experience. Now, when you use the word childhood adverse experience, means that there's some things that has been registered in your subconscious mind while growing up. Maybe you have been bullied, maybe you have been molested, maybe you have been seeing the way your parents work and all that. And some of these things you can never forget. And those are the things that determines the way you react, and unconsciously. Yeah, and those are the things and all that. And some of these things are stones that is affecting the growth in your marriage. And that is where excavation is necessary, taking out the stones, taking out those things that will literally sap the nutrients in your marriage. Listen, marriage is a good thing. And I want us to please go in with that mentality. They say, either find a good thing and obtain favor. There's good things in marriage. You know, just like when the scripture says, if you are willing and obedient, you will eat the good of the land. I want to be sure that you're all listening to me. Can you hear me, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So I just want to be sure that we have people listening to me here, right? So I'm saying in essence that, look, guys, no matter how you see it, no matter how there's somebody you need, you need to literally cultivate it. And to cultivate, you look at agriculture, there are a lot of things that you need to remove the weeds. So some of us, we have a lot of weeds while we're growing up. We have a lot of stones that have been placed there, upbringing, significant experiences, and then your upbringing, your environment. All these three things are the things that actually make up what you have today. And most times you don't see things the way they are. You don't see things the way they are. You see things the way you are. You are the determining factor. The interpretation that you give to life is not based on life itself. It's based on your own goggle of life. We call it the map of the world. What's your map view? What the way you see life. So some people see life from a positive perspective, some people see life from the negative perspective. And the truth there is that neither of it is right, neither of it is wrong. Neither. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. So you can't judge me based on my actions and disposition now. If you want to understand me, you need to understand where I am coming from. In one of the classes, I think I spent time to explain it. And I will try again when I'm taking character development in marriage. I'm going to explain these things about your wiring, your makeup. I'm going to spend a little time. And I use this also as therapy. A lot of us, I know sometimes when I take this session, some people will start crying, some people will start wondering, or some people now begin to say, oh, so this is why I'm like this, I know that. And it's a therapy session that we use this class for, so that you can actually discover yourself and not just blaming yourself. Now, listen, don't say because this is how you are and you just give up. No, it has to be cultivated. You have to deliberately spend time to it. So that's what we're going to be talking about In your marriage, marriage is between two of you. There is nothing like our wife. It's us that we just use it traditionally. It is not our wife, it is my wife, right? It's my husband. Now, there is no communal development in code if both of you are not deliberately working towards it. So when you're talking about it, we are saying here, friends, for your marriage to work, you need to cultivate it. Literally cultivate it by, first of all, having a clear vision of your own life. Where are you going? What do you expect in life? What are your aspirations? What are your own expectations in life? That will help you to actually determine how you want your life to look like. You know, if you don't have vision, you know, every other person will give will every way we look like it if we don't define where you are going. You know, let me use the word the definition of vision. We said vision is the definition of your destination. Vision is the definition of your destination. In other words, vision is seeing things not the way they are, but the way it can be. You know, the way you think it can be. So you need to define, how do you want your marriage to look like? How do you want your wife to look like? This is the time you need to actually help. So these are the things that will help to cultivate. And when you are actually doing the cultivation, it means that you have already have a premonition. Let me use the word premonition, but you have an idea of what you want your marriage to look like. You have an idea of the kind of seed or the trees that you want to grow. You have an idea of what you actually want to plant, and that will help to know how you want to do. So the way you're going to plant maize will be different from the way you're going to plant cassava. It's going to be different from the way you're going to plant yam. It's going to be different. So all this have their own. So you need to sit down and ask yourself, as husband, as wife, as a guy, as a babe, how do I really want my family to look like? And that is where the work synergy comes in. And I'm going to go to that in a bit. You know, so when you are actually cultivating, friends, we are saying that you spend, as husband and wife, both of you sit down together and ask, what are the areas, what are the belief system that need to be altered, that need to be changed? Because these are things that have a way of affecting your marriage, your belief system. You know, some of the things you have believed and have registered in your subconscious mind, because what you believe is what you behave, and what you behave is what you become. All these things are very simple principle, but you have to be deliberate. So I'm talking here about cultivating a strong marriage, cultivating. So I've taken a little time to explain that aspect of cultivation, right? That you need to cultivate. You need to spend time to remove. You need to spend time to ask the question: what are the things that I want to invest in my marriage? What are the things that make it work? And I refer back to the man that shared the story, and I said that this man spent time to cultivate his own garden, and it looks beautiful. The other man was not ready. He was just watching things to happen, and then weeds started growing. He was not spending time to literally cultivate it. So some of us will look at some marriages and we compare our marriages with other people. Yeah, that's what we do. Why can't Fola be like my sister? You know, why can't Fola be like my friend's wife? You know, or why can't Toyin be like my friends, or Peter be like, why is it that can't you even see our pastor's wife? Why can't you just be like, listen to me, friends, all the people you are referring to, somebody literally spent time to cultivate their own garden. Banji is not the best person. He's a raw material. And you need to spend time to go through the cultivation to get out the real Banji. You can't spend time to be comparing yourself. I like the way Pastor K is talking. Can't you see the way he's even laughing? He's like, oh man, if it's because you don't know PKO 10, 20 years ago. Yeah. There was a cultivation that happened that was a deliberate attempt that made him what he is today. Right? So don't give up on one another now. That's one of the things that affects marriages today, because they look down on one another. Yes, you are marrying the raw material. When I create time to talk about character development in marriage, I'm going to talk about you. I'm going to talk about how you are wired. You know, I'm going to talk about the difference between a man and a woman, and the wiring of the man, if possible, and why there is no need for a man to be comparing himself with the woman. Maybe I can mention a few things here. You know, when a man was made, actually was made outside the Garden of Eden. In other words, was made from a raw material, from a disposed place, from a place where it's irrelevant, is not as good as it is. But when a woman was made inside the Garden of Eden, inside the Garden of Eden, and was made from a finished goods. I'm just throwing an idea to us. If you want to go study, you can go back and look at the creation of a man and the creation of a woman. You discover that women are more advantaged. So the reason why you are marrying the wife is to complete you, to help you become a better person. There's no need for you to compete with her. She is better than you. There's no need for you to be saying, there's no need for her to work. Let her work. She will make more money than you. And the money is going to be for the whole family. There's no need for you to be comparing that she has better quality. She have opportunity to open more doors for you. So please, there's no need for you to be competing with one another. The same thing applies to the wife. There's no need. What you cannot see, the man can see far. Why? Because he's made from a raw material. He has street sense, in quotes, because he was born outside. He was born in the streets. You were born in the palace. Right. So sometimes I don't know if I'm making sense. Can I get just a PK will go on PK just to be sure that somebody is here?
Go on, sir. Go on, sir.
Am I making sense? Yeah.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Good. So now I'm saying all this because I want you to please understand that you need to literally spend time to cultivate your marriage. There is need for commitments. And sometimes I say humorously, but some people said I said the truth. I've said it that love is not enough when it comes to marriage. And then some people said yes, some people said no, but I now give them what I mean by the word love. That there are four types of love. Somebody said there are seven. There's love between parents and parents. There's a name for it. There's a love between friends. There's a name for it. There's love between husband and wife, which is erotic love. There's a name for it, the phineas and all that. And then there is another love that supersedes all this other one. So the one that brought you together as husband and wife is the one I'm talking about. That is not enough to put you together. We call it erotic love. The one that actually puts you together is the sacrificial love. We call it agape love, right? So that is why I said the erotic love is not enough to keep you together. There is the agape love, which requires life commitment. The agape love, which requires you dying. So if you're not ready to die, please, there is no need for you to say you are going to be, there is bliss in your marriage. If you're not ready to die, forget about marriage. Forget about happiness in marriage. So the one I'm talking about, that when I use the word love is not enough, I am actually talking about the love that brought you guys together. When you are married, please, your eyes will be open. Your eyes will be open. You will say Mary, you say, hey, why did I marry this Mary? I don't know that this is how Mary is. Oh, Luau. Hey. And you say, Daddy, so you snore like this. My father. It's just like when Mary will wake up one time, I will just rush outside to go and off, to say maybe you want to go and off the generator. And you go outside, I discovered that there was light, it's not the generator that is working. I said, so what's making that sound? You now enter, I discovered that it's actually Daddy that is making that noise, as if it sounded like generator. Hallelujah to Jesus. I not be wondering, who do I marry? Is it the actions or the reactions? And sometimes some of the baggages in our past, we play up in our marriage. How do you handle it? How do you handle it? That is why taking this class is very, very important. And that is why I said you are to cultivate it. Now, in cultivating a strong marriage, there are two major factors that we need to consider. The first one is the internal factor. The internal factor, and the other one is the external factor. Now, the internal factor is very, very important. Very, very important. Yeah. When I use the word very, very important, I'm saying here, when you're talking about cultivation, actually, we are saying that it is between the two of us. So the internal factor actually talks about the two of you. If you are not deliberate to make these two work, external factor has a way of distorting and redefining the scope and the direction of your marriage. You know, if you, both of you, are not deliberate to put yourself down and ask yourself critical questions and look at the place where you're going. Listen to me. External factor will come. It's just like when they use the word in Yoruba, we said if the iku in the inside cannot kill you, the iku on the outside will not have dominion. If the iku, you understand that in Yoruba, if the death on the inside cannot kill, the death on the outside will not kill. You know, and there's another word that says that if the wall does not open, lizard will not come in. Yeah. So now I'm saying here there is the iku on the inside. Iku means death, right? So there is the iku on the inside. You need to deal with the iku on the inside. The marriage is between the two of you. So the internal factor literally has to do with the two of you. There's no need for you to be sentimental about your relationship. I see so many people that are really, really very sentimental about their marriage, and they said that, well, this is how I want my marriage. It must be like this, and then you see external people helping you to define. Say this is not how your father did it. This is not how your pastor did it, and all that. And I say sometimes that even some pastors are the reasons why many marriages have been broken. Why? Because they are not even qualified to be a counselor in the first place. They are not qualified because they are called pastors does not give them the right to be counseling people. I've said that over and over again, and I say to people that care to listen that stop going to your pastors if he's not a professional counselor, if he's not a professional counselor. Let me use that word. Because some things they will say is what God says. God did not say anything about that. This marriage, and I said in one of the classes, that marriage is 100% spiritual and 100% carnal. Listen, sometimes prayers cannot save your marriage. No matter how you go to the mountain, it will not save your marriage. It is knowledge. It is knowledge. It is the knowledge that you're acquiring here that will save you. And if you don't know, just like the Bible says, my people perish for lack of knowledge, not lack of prayers, no, lack of knowledge. So there's some things you should know. There's a principle that governs marriage. And as somebody, and I think I've mentioned it in this class, that there's nothing that is called a Christian marriage. Nothing like that. You know, marriage is marriage. It's just like you said, a Christian money. And that is how it means. It's not like Christian money. Money is money. The difference is that people in there will determine the direction. However, the Bible, which is not in code, permit me to use the Bible in code, is not just a Christian book, as it were. It is a principle of God. A principle of God. So if I use the word principle of God, you will agree with me that Abraham was not a Christian in quote. Christian means Christ-like. And Christ has not come during the time of Abraham. So we can't call Abraham Christian. But we are all father of faith, which means we are talking about the relationship of God, the nature of God. And Abraham had the nature of God. Don't let me spoil your philosophy. Now, I'm just saying that, listen, there is a principle that governs marriage. Now that you are now in Christ, you have a better advantage than someone that is not directed by God. That is what it literally means. You have a better advantage. Your home cannot be a Christian home because you are a Christian. Not because the marriage is Christian. It's because you are the Christian. But you have the Christ nature in you. Are you being transformed? And those are the things that will play up the things. Because when you talk about love, love suffers long. If you look at the attributes of love, love gives, love forgives. You talk about love, peace, the fruits of the Spirit are love and all that. If those things are not functional in your life and you are not being led by the Spirit, you will still be struggling in your marriage despite the fact that you're a Christian. Right? So I'm just saying here that what will help your marriage together now is for you to understand the principle. Now that you are in Christ, the principle will be easier. Why? Because you have the principle that governs the principle. Yeah, you have the principle, which is God, that governs the principle, that make life the principle. There was a principle that was operational before the New Testament that says an eye for an eye. And Jesus, that is the life of God, now came and help us to redefine the principle. I said that principle may work before, but this principle now says when they eat you at the right cheek, turn the left cheek. This principle says, love your neighbor as yourself. So you can see the little distortion or alterations here to align the principle based on the nature of God. That is where the Christian part brings life to marriages. And that is why you see some unbelievers, they don't know God, they are this, and their marriage is the best. They are teaching us the principles of happy marriage, and you'll be wondering, and these people are not Christians. Why? Because it's not about Christianity. It is about a principle. Right. So now let's go back now. I hope I've not talked too much today. Are you flowing? Are you getting it?
Yes, sir. I'm getting
Can I
it,
continue?
sir. Yes, sir. You can continue, sir.
Okay. So I start by saying, that there is what we call the internal factor and the external factor. And I said the internal factor has to do with the two of you. Yeah, two of you. Both of you plays a very important role. And I said that if the death on the inside cannot kill, the death on the inside actually is the two of you. The first person that you see in the mirror is the problem of your marriage. The first person that you look at when you check the mirror, the person that you see is actually the problem in the marriage. So I want to ask us, Fola, if you check the mirror in the morning, who do you see?
Myself.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Chooks, if you check the mirror in the morning, if you check the mirror in the morning, who do you see?
See myself.
You sure?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have just introduced death to you. The issue that is affecting your marriage is who I've just introduced to you, the person in the mirror. So you need to kill yourself so that the external person will not have dominion over you. Anyway, I'm just giving us just a small description to that. All right, now, so what I'm saying in essence is that the all internal factor has to do with the two of you. The two of you, the husband, the wife. It's important that both of you are on the same page. And what we talked about is that for you to enjoy your marriage, then there is need for both of you to nurture your marriage, both of you to create fun in your marriage, or how will I put it, to deliberately cultivate it. How do you cultivate your marriage? Number one, you need to deliberately create fun in your marriage. Deliberately. See, you're going to spend the rest of your life together. And this is the time you need to cultivate it. Plant fun in your marriage. Don't be too mechanical in this relationship. And a lot of us, we are not in a relation. Many of our parents are actually not in the marriage relationship. Actually, they are in what we call a transactional relationship. Their marriage is more of a transactional one. Why? Because there's no relationship, there's no fun. They have moved from the friends, brother and friends and all that. They moved from the friendship zone to what we call responsibilities. They are not acting based on their own role. They have moved from relationship to role as husband and role as wife. So the wife assumed the duty. I wake up in the morning, I cook for my husband and all that. No, that is the only thing they're doing. And these are the things that literally killing our marriage, killing our relationship. Now that you're now the wife, your partner that said, yes, I do. You now started commanding her as if you have paid the dowry. Listen to me. That is not what marriage is all about. It's about relationship. So it's not the time for you to now be behaving as if I'm not the man. No. That is not what it's all about. It's about both of you coming together to ask ourselves the question: are we going in the same direction? What is your philosophy of life? What is the direction? What is our vision? Ask ourselves this question and see how we can move together. So deliberately create fun in your marriage. Now, in doing this, it means both of you need to today make up your mind to enjoy one another from now. What am I saying, friends? I know some of us, we have a lot of friends, which are okay, very, very okay. But the moment both of you have decided to go in the same direction, work towards making your partner your best of friend. Making each other. What that means is that you have to be deliberately take interest in the activities of each other because you're going to spend the rest of your life together. Fun, make it fun. Don't just make it mechanical. You know, you want to talk to one another, you want to play. Both of you have to deliberately do that. Listen to me. If you don't spend time to talk to your wife, you have created opportunity for other people to talk to her. If you don't spend time to talk to your husband, you have already created a loophole for another person to talk to them. And the moment they are talking to them, it may not be in alignment to where both of you are going. So why don't you spend time to deliberately talk to one another? In talking to one another, it means that some of the things we learned in communication, you need to make it work so that the person will feel comfortable to talk with you. You know, some of us, we don't feel comfortable being vulnerable with one another. You know, we don't feel comfortable. See, when you are going into marriage, there's nothing like trying to be Superman. Stop all this. Your weakness, let her know. Your strength, let him know. All these things will help both of you. So deliberately create fun in your marriage. Make it something that both of you feel comfortable being around one another. I cannot talk to him because he'll be angry. You are making your marriage mechanical. That is what is affecting. And that is why the external factor, which you're going to talk about, are the reasons why it's now affecting many homes today. Why? Because you are behaving, you are the man of the house, you are the woman of the house. And no. Sometimes you don't need to, the guy has said yes to you. There's no need for you to be fighting all these people. Just concentrate on your garden. When you are cultivating your marriage, my garden, let me tell you something, weeds will come on board. Birds will fly, let them fly. As long as you concentrate on your garden, there'll be a time when they will not have opportunity to perch on your garden. But if you leave your garden and you are running after the bird, you are running after a cockroach, you are being distracted. You are not focusing your focus on your focus. You need to deliberate. Look at your wife. What can you do to make her beautiful from now? Look at your husband. What can you do to make him beautiful? Let him be somebody that everybody want to be like, want to marry. And say, if I do that now, they'll come and listen to me. That is what marriage is all about. You are investing in one another. So yes, there is tendency for us to be jealous. Yeah, you know, because it's your thing. I understand that. But if you make her feel comfortable in her skin, or you make him comfortable in his skin, listen to me, it will always defer back to you. See, I'm spending time to say that you need to cultivate your internal factor. That's what I've been sharing with us. And I said the first thing you need to do is create fun. Make up your mind to manage, to enjoy, not just endure, enjoy your marriage. Enjoy your marriage, right? So he's not trying to show you, look, be deliberate. Some people will call you, come call your master, they'll come and you come and sing, come and play keyboard, and your wife is telling you, listen, there are times you need, yes, both of you being something that will make both of you together, right? Do some activities that will make you work together. See, all these things I'm sharing with you is also scriptural. You know, when in the book of Revelation, there about when the Lord was selling to the churches, the 7 candles and the 7 churches and all that. There was a point when he says that, I remember your these things and all that, but I have one thing against you, that you have left your first love. How many of us remember that story? Hello?
Yes, sir.
You remember that story, right?
Absolutely, sir.
Good. You know, he said, and that is the problem with many marriages today. He said, you have left your first love. And God now said, for you to get your first love, you need to go and do your first work. To get your first love, you need to do your first work. What are the first work? This is what we are talking about now. What are the things that your partner will remember and will always feel comfortable around you? And that is what we're talking about now. That's what we're talking about now. These are the internal factor that is being cultivated that will endear both of you together. So the first one I've mentioned, you being deliberate to make your married work, creating interest in one another, creating fun in your marriage. The second thing, which is closely related to fun, is laughter. Laughter, Oga, laugh. When you are together, deliberately do some activities that will make you laugh. Not too serious all the time, always too serious. Go out together, watch movie, play, dance. Sometimes shake your bum bum in his presence or in her presence, laugh. The person sometimes will say, you are not serious, you're not serious, and all that. Sometimes she might not even want to laugh. She might be all this, but listen to me. Laughter is contagious. The person will just want to laugh. However, don't mind it. If she is not laughing now, just watch it. When you are doing those things, you are doing, oh yes, or you do that, see me. All those small things. Somebody said, this thing is personality related. Listen, you are talking about your partner. Be deliberate to make her laugh. Be deliberate to make him laugh. Do some of these things. Some of these things based on your own temperament. If it's book your own love language, or we call it your mumu button, is intellectual, so use some grammar, some grammar. Just look for control some grammar, the philosophy of the Macaulities, and they say it to her and all that. All these things are some of the fronts that need to be created. When you are dancing, sometimes you are laughing, you are dancing, the person may not dance and laugh, but listen to me, those small things that make you are forcing laughter to happen. She may not laugh when you are there, but when she's taking a bath or these things, you will just see her be just like, and then the world say, what happened? Say nothing. I just remember something. What did you remember? What you are supposed to laugh when he's laughing is now that it is now done on you, that you now feel like laughing. And those small things, small fun and laughter are the things that your partner will miss when you are not around. Making deliberate investment. Laugh. Are you with me? So sometimes tickle your partner. Let him laugh. Don't make him always resort to his mood, always wanting to be serious. Some of us, that is some of the mistakes. You are not comfortable in your partner's skin. He's want to make you laugh, and you shake. Is that what you are supposed to be doing? You don't even think. You are killing your partner. You are even not killing your partner. You are actually killing yourself. Because those are some of the things that you will remember later in the future that will add juice to your marriage. Note this, you are not used to it, but for things to change, there is need for you to change the pattern. There is a pattern that needs to be recultivated and reactivated, so that this one will make an alignment based on the vision of your marriage. So I think I've said a lot, and I have a lot to say. I don't know why I'm so excited today, but just please bear with me. I want to believe that this class is making a little sense, right? Go to the chat room if you can, and let me know if you are listening. Just say, go on, it's making sense, it's not making sense. I will not say anything until I hear or I see somebody say something.
Yeah, it's making a lot of sense. Please continue.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Jari. Thank you very much. All right. So I know time is not on my side. Now, see, the two I mentioned earlier is still between the two of you. Another one, which is also very important, friends, is deliberately encourage one another. Two of you, this is not the time. Both of you have decided you want to get married, or you are married. This is not the time for you to be talking down on one another, or for you to be making a jest of one another, or you wanting to force a change to happen to the person. You don't have the capacity to change anybody. You only have the capacity to influence change. I'll say it again. I'm going to develop that when I talk about character development in marriage. You don't have the capacity to change anybody. You only have the capacity to influence change. In character development in marriage, I'm going to tell you how you are wired, what made you where you are, the source of your wiring. So I don't need to bore us with that. When you end up the classes, you listen to it, and then just remind me. Like I said, I want to take us through that session. Now, so this one that I want to change him. I want to see the reason why you married the person now is because of the quality you are seeing in the person. The person can talk. Now you are married, you are saying, stop talking, you talk too much. That was what attracted you to him. All you need to do is not to devalue the person, is to add value. What can he say that will bring money that will make him better, not shutting the person down or shutting her down. Friends, you are killing the person. The person is always like to play. Yes, I'm not saying you don't like to create boundary. Yes, he doesn't know how to create boundary, but there is a way you can define what boundary is, because the person, some people of the matter of the world, they don't understand what boundary is all about. It means that you're not making the person feel comfortable in his skin. The person will be running away from you. Why? Because people don't go to the place where they are tolerated. They go to the place where they are celebrated. So can we literally say my partner is comfortable around me? If not, begin to work on it. So I'm talking about encouraging one another. Use words, work towards adding value, build one another, not break one another, not using work to destroy one another. You need to say some things. You know, you need to let the person know that, look, I believe in you, I appreciate you, I know you can be better. The person might say, your own is too much. Continue with the push. A time will come when you are pushing the person towards progress. The person will come later to appreciate you. But when you know that this is where you are going, push the person to the place of blessing. You know, it is necessary now. Encourage the person to go close to God. Not this now that you're married, you are saying you don't spend time with God, you want to spend time with me. And if you spend time in church, say you're spending too much time in church, you don't have time for me. Listen, friends, if you don't push your partner to God, listen, you're going to kill your marriage. You're going to affect your marriage. Go do activities together. All these things are things that matters. These are encouragement that the person needs. The person doesn't want to go to school. Yes, you had your ND and you feel comfortable. This is the time. Tell the person what I see us talking and we're going to be good. So let the person go and do the HND. Let the person do some professional courses. All this encouragement, it may be painful now, but it's going to yield the dividend later. Invest in one another. To encourage one another also, this is a time where, as you are growing, you need to grow together. All these things are things that will bring you guys together. Do some courses that is related to one another, and all these things, so that by the time you are speaking, he's speaking in conjunction with you and in alignment. Not that you are doing a PhD, you are doing, and she's still a master holder, I mean, a school start holder, and you are comfortable with that. Listen to me, the kind of caliber of people that you attract, you may not be able to pull your wife towards that or your husband towards that. So encourage one another. All this encouragement is very, very important. Oh, do it now. Then, yes, money is a factor. Yes, when you have the money, somebody should do first. Then later, push the other person to do. Not that you are the only one. Let me make it first. No. Both of you will need to make it together. Is that okay? Excuse me. Oh God. I can't get any response here. Please go to the chat room. Encourage me. Please go to the chat room and say something so that I'll know people are listening here. Please. All right. So go to the chat room. If there are some things you are getting, please. I want to try and make it interactive, but I see the way I'm talking. I'm really in it, right? So I hope you don't mind if I continue in this space. Should I continue in this space, or I can take responses? Tony, are you getting what I'm saying here? Is it making sense?
Yes, sir, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Mary, are you home now? Paula, can I continue?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So now, I said I'm talking about internal. See, these are things that many homes today are being affected because they don't invest in their garden. They don't spend time. They are concerned about what somebody is saying, somebody is not saying, all this. They are not concentrating on their own garden. They are not. And I'm saying, friends, that look, for your marriage to be fruitful, invest in this marriage. Yeah, invest. Somebody just locked out now. Who is that? Who is that? Peter? No. Emeka? No. Somebody just logged out now. Anyway, I hope the person will join us back. Right? So, okay, they're back. It's Mary. Right? So, and I'm saying here, spend time to encourage one another. Now, let me quickly jump to another point. Very important point. Very important point. In your marriage is a journey, and three key elements. which tends to be the root of your marriage, is very, very important. 3 key elements, very, very important, that will help your marriage last. And when this thing is built, like I said, it's internal factor. If these 3 things are in your marriage, you are good to go. The first one is honesty. Honesty. The second one is forgiveness. The third one is trust. I'll say it again. Write it. I hope you're writing down. I've mentioned the internal factor, and I started by saying fun. I mentioned laughter. I've mentioned encouragement. Now I'm saying these 3 elements, very important. And I said that 1, honesty. Number 2, forgiveness. And then the last one is trust. Now, I first want to start with honesty. Honesty means being truthful to God, to yourself, and to others. That's what honesty is all about. So which means that honesty means that you should be vulnerable. You are transparent. You are honest with yourself. See, a lot of people, which I'm going to talk about in character development, like I mentioned, this class, I use it for therapy, and I use character development also for therapy. Now, a lot of people are living what we call, they're living in denial. Oh, time will not permit me. Yeah, because I just remember I have another section here, right? A lot of people are living in denial. You're not being honest. You're not being honest. You're not transparent. You're not vulnerable. You are trying to pretend. You are forming what you are not. You know, when you say somebody is forming big man, you're forming what you're not. You're not being honest. The truth is this: you cannot get the best in your marriage if you're not honest with your partner. You know, there's no need for you to be forming who you are not. The Bible says they were both naked and they were not ashamed. That is honesty. That is being vulnerable. So it is attached to that. Then forgiveness. Now, forgiveness means that we call it advanced forgiveness. You know that the person you're getting married to is human. He has his own flaws. You need to forgive the person. Forgive the person. It will hurt you. The person might cheat on you. The person might have emotional connection with somebody. It's an element of being human. And the person might be selfish. It's an element of being human. And if you're not transformed because of the being renewed by the word of God, you know, there will be time of error. There'll be time of mistake of the head and not the mistake of the heart. Even if it's a mistake of the heart, learn to forgive. And you're not forgiving the person because of the person. You're forgiving the person because of your destiny, because of your future. And I've seen so many people here. Let me tell you the truth. Many marriages, many people will go to hell because they are married. Many. Why? Because they're not investing in this area of their marriage that will actually make heaven their goal. There are so many people that are keeping bitterness. They are thinking unforgiveness in their marriage. And unforgiveness is the license to hell, not to heaven. It blocks heaven. Said, I cannot forgive my wife. I cannot forgive my husband. You can forgive your friend. You can forgive, but my husband, no, I cannot. You are not doing it. See, God does not care if you are married or you're not married. Though. There's nothing like this word is one of the license to. No, marriage is not a license to heaven. In fact, it's a license to a lot of people going to hell. Because your integrity, your personality and everything will be tested when you're married. Right? So, and I need to say here, friends, these 3 things I mentioned, trust. Last one is trust, right? Trust means to actually believe in one another. Yes. And this trust is actually earned. It's not something that will just jump on you. You develop it. So be trustworthy. All these 3 things are very, very crucial in your marriage. Now, let me rush through other ones, which is talking about internal factor. Yeah, internal factor, the 2 of you. Now, communication is very, very important. You all agree with me. There is no need for me to be saying this over and over again. Right? Communication, right, is very, very important. So sorry, I observed that, I don't know. All right, so we have said before now that marriage is 85% communication. Guys, be deliberate to communicate with one another. Silence treatment kills marriages faster. You're angry, you don't want to talk to one another, you're spending 3 days, you're keeping malice. It's not helping your marriage. You're not cultivating. You are even allowing earthworm. You are allowing some pests to enter your marriage. All these things affect marriages. Ah, shit. Time will not permit me to really. I don't know. When I'm taking this class, I get so excited. Like I said, it's very, 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 very crucial. This class is very crucial. All right. So communication. And please spend time to learn to listen to one another. Learn to listen. In communication, we talked about it, that listening is one of the biggest secret of communication. Learn to listen to one another. Learn to listen. Listen to your spouse. Learn how to listen. You listen with your eyes, not just with your ears. Learn to listen. You know, and note that a lot of us have different methods of communication. Some people can shout when they are communicating. Some people use vocal power. Some people use gesture, all that. You need to know the ones that your person, so you need to understand the body language. We talked about the words you use, the tone of usage, and the body languages and all that. This part, very important. Build the key, the element. Build what will make you guys to communicate. Deliberate about it, right? Good. So next to communication is compromise. Listen, if you're not ready to change, don't go into marriage. If you're not really willing to give or to take, don't go into marriage. Because it will require you letting go of what you are used to be able to accommodate the person, either the person's excesses or the person's deficiencies. You must be willing. Don't say, this is how I am. That doesn't mean that means you should lose your integrity or you should lose your, no. Compromise means sometimes lower your standard to accommodate the person's standard or upgrade your standard so that you can to meet up with other person's. That is the word compromise. In other words, we're saying trying as much as possible to put the interest of your partner before your own. Yeah, is that okay? So this is what compromise is all about. And then now other ones is which other one can I mention? Also, let me just mention one or two other ones. Prioritize. Having the same priority is very important. Sharing the same priority. Not that some of you want to jump out while the person want to stay in Nigeria, or you want to buy car while the other person want to build buy lace and all that. You need to sit down together and have the same priority. Have the same priority, because you must be looking at the direction and make sure the direction is positive and both of you are going in that direction. Is that okay? Having the same priority also will bring both of you closer and will make each other best of friends. Activities that you can do together, outings, going out, and all these things actually matters. All these things that I just mentioned are some of the things that will bring you guys together. Will make the internal forces become solidified. Because you're on the same page, you're going the same direction, you know what you want, you know how you want it, and all that. And all that. Now, sorry, now, having mentioned all this, it leads me quickly to the external factor. This is the place where so many people focus on in their marriage. The external factor. Now, when you talk about the external factor, this is what we call the third party interference. These are the things that comes into your marriage. These are some of the things that interject your marriage and affect your marriage. Because the internal factor is not there. Like I said, if the echo of the outside does not kill, the echo of the inside cannot kill the echo of the outside. The death of the outside will not have dominion. But if there is problem in the internal factor, then the external factor will come in. And what are the external factor? The first one, which all of us we are all familiar with, is our parents or our in-laws. That is the external factor. Like I said, we call them the third party interference. It happens in a lot of marriages because both of you are not on the same page. Both of you doesn't have the same priority. Both of you don't forgive one another. There's no fun in your marriage. You don't talk, you don't communicate, you don't encourage one another. Then your in-laws will come in. Your parents will not be able to come in and they begin to impose their own ideas, their own philosophy into your marriage. And I always tell people, please don't allow their interventions in your marriage. Don't expose your internal challenges to them. Don't try as much as possible to shield one another from it. However, except maybe when you guys are going through issues, please talk with your counselor. I know some of us, what we do is that when you're going through issues, the first person you want to talk to is to report your partner to our parents. And what you don't know is that when you do that, you are actually reporting them to them. You are telling them that your child does not have home training. No parent would like to hear that. They would definitely want to cite their own child, despite the fact that they know that Banji is a very stubborn guy. Everybody knows Banji is stubborn. But it's beyond you, it's beyond your mouth for you to be telling them that coming from you is an insult as far as they are concerned. You know, everybody knows that Adeoye is a very, very hard person. You talk too much and everybody, but if you're now the one reporting to them, is an insult as it's far. So it's better you talk to your counselor or somebody that can influence your marriage better than for you to be exposing some of these things. Listen to me, all parents are selfish, no matter their level of maturity. Most of the parents, not all, sorry, most of the parents are selfish, no matter the level of maturity. Why are they selfish? They will think about the investments they've made on the he or she. They will think about what the pain, the things they when they were growing up. So those are some of the sentiments that will play on board. So please try as much as possible to manage them. They will come. When they come, make sure that you don't take side. Rather, both of you, internal factor, be on the same page. Mommy said something, go and discuss with one another. Not that you make a decision without carrying one another, without communicating, without being on the same priority. You know, it affects your marriage, and please don't. You know, so sometimes the parent have the tendency to complicate issues instead of preferring solutions. They have a way of using their own selfish reason. And some of our parents actually want to live their life in your life. They want to live their own life in your life. You know, so you don't let them start the permission. See, you remember in the priority, living the married life, the class we took, we said that your parents are part of your family by privilege, not by right. In other words, it is easier said than done, like somebody said, but the truth is this: if you know the way the whole thing works, your family first, have your own culture, have your own mission and your vision, know where you are going. When they come, they have to align. After a while, when they discover that you guys know where you are going, they will conform to what standard you have set. But if you don't know where you are going, that is when they now begin to direct you and tell you this is how you should do it. This is what you should do. Now, when it comes to taking care of your kids, the different dynamics, which I'm going to, I don't think I'll talk about it, but in School of Parenting, they'll mention some of the things, how the parents come around. And I think in marriage, I'm going to talk about it. I don't know if I've talked about it, preparing for marriage. And I said that you are the one getting married. They are the one getting wedded. Two different things. So your parents are getting wedded. Yeah, you are getting married. So you don't prepare for wedding, you prepare for marriage. Don't worry, we'll talk about it if you have not mentioned it. All right, so the external factor are your in-laws, your parents. They will come around and they can complicate you. The other one that can affect your marriage, which is an external factor, is your background differences or influences. It can affect you. What am I talking about? I talk about your belief system, your traditional beliefs, your custom, what you are used to, your values, your affiliations. All these things are some of the things that can interject in your marriage. You believe that you must shout when you are praying and your partner is coming from a different map of the world. You believe that all fair people are winch. And then, a lot of us have some backgrounds that need to. Those are the reason why I said it has to be excavated. It has to be removed. Those are some of the stones. If you don't work at it, it will have a way of becoming a stronghold in your marriage. So these are external factors. Another external factor is your church beliefs or church doctrines. Some of these things, you need to check it. There are some doctrinal doctrinal beliefs that may not be in alignment with God, but this is how they have been doing it. And you are coming from a different things. If you import it into your marriage, it's going to create a problem in your marriage. What do you both believe? And both of you should be on the same page in this regard, not imposing one another, and build your marriage on the word of God, right? That's external factor. What other external factor can I talk about? Your place of work. You know, your place of work can be an external factor. And I say here, friends, when you are at home, be at home. Don't be addicted to your job at the expense of your family. Don't say you don't have time. I'm looking for money. I'm making money. Listen, I've seen a lot of people, what they are doing when they are working is they are making a lot of money to make a lot of money, and they are making the money at the expense of their family. By the time they make the money, they've lost their marriage. You've lost their marriage. So please, family first, family first. Don't be addicted to work. When you know there is time, for example, now on Sundays, my family knows that I'm always very busy on Sunday. So they don't like to disturb me on Sunday. We create that time. But when I'm not supposed to be busy, I try to create time for them. You know, when I'm at home, I'm at home. So days that I'm supposed to help with mechanical work, electrical work, I'm there. You know, I'm also very busy, but I create time to be at home. Take time to bath for your children. Let them know you. Don't use work. You leave like Lagos now, Lagos, Nigeria, you leave work, you leave the house for 5 a.m., you get back home 10 a.m. Your children don't know you. You have to be deliberate. One of the days, create time to be with them. Let them know that you are there for them. This is very, very important. It has a way of affecting you if you don't to prioritize. You know, I mentioned prioritize in the internal factor, and I say your work can affect you. Okay, so other ones are friends, right? Your friends can affect you. Yeah, show me your friends, and I'll predict your future. That is what they usually say. Your friends, your company will determine your accomplishment in life. So, friends, you need to be very careful about the kind of friends that you keep. Like I said earlier, internal factor says make your wife your best of friends. So if you have a friend and it's an opposite sex and you said it's your best friend, you're already killing your marriage before you know what is happening. Your social life also, it is part of friends, you know, your social values, you know, if you like going clubbing and all that, you need to go to discuss. Do we have to? Do we need to? You know, these are things, your future, your values, or is what will determine how your future or your social life will look like. I said to people that everybody cannot be your friend. Everybody cannot be your friend. Yeah, they are friends for reason, they are friends for season, and they are friends for life. So you need to place them, define who is. Some of them say it's my childhood friend, and you know this person will not take you to where you are going. Yeah, sometimes you need to manage such friends and discard it. I have a friend that both of you are in conjunction with, you appreciate, and is adding value to your marriage, not always how will I put it, always being sentimental. You know, you need to be very sensitive in your marriage. All right, sorry, can you go to the chat room please and tell me how many minutes should I spend more so that I can round off? I think I've said so many things today. Right, can I continue? Just say yes or no. Can I continue? Yes or no. Go to the chat room right away and put it there. Right. Okay, I think I'm lost. Nobody's responding. Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Should I continue? Should I
Yes,
stop?
I can hear you, sir. You can continue, sir.
Okay. All right, let me just, I think I've bored you a lot today. I didn't allow guys to talk. I've told you this class is a bit, I understand, time will not permit me to take some responses. Anyway, let me add one or two more, right? I'll end with one of them. Guys, do you know that childbearing is also an external factor? Procreation is an external factor. What do I mean by that? When the Bible says the fruit of the womb is a reward, the rewarder has a way and the time to reward you. So delay in procreation can affect your marriage. Do you know that? The moment you are married, they will start looking at your womb. You will start looking at your stomach. They will start counting days. They will start counting months. you know. So such sometimes can affect your marriage if you are not careful. You know, that's the time when your belief system will be tested. Somebody will now introduce somebody to you. You'll say that, I have a prophet, that the prophet is very powerful. If you go there, all you will just do is to suck your breast. Maybe that's where the demon is. This is so they'll press your breast and then you have your baby. They will ask you to drink some water. All the way. So some of us, our belief system will be tested when there is delay in procreation. So such things can cause problems in your marriage. Or the worst part of it is when your mother or your parents, they will now say, you know what? If your wife cannot do, I will give you another girlfriend. I will bring another person from the village. That person will give me my own children. All these things, can affect your marriage. If both of you are not on the same page, all these things will now begin to expose you to negative things. These are external factors that can affect your marriage. And you need to. And those are pests that comes. Some of these things are supposed to add manure to your marriage, but because you do not position it well, they are the one that's actually killing your marriage. So you have to be a bit careful with that. God has promised that you're going to get married, so please hold on to what the Word of God said, and both of you ensure that you are on the same page. If not, it will affect your marriage. All right. So I've mentioned something about friends, and I think the area of friends too. Like I said, be careful of the kind of friends. Somebody said you have an unbeliever that's as your friend. Unbeliever is somebody that does not believe in what you believe. That's an unbeliever. And the Bible says, do not be unequally yoked with unbeliever. In other words, if the person does not believe in integrity, he's an unbeliever. You don't need to compromise your relationship with the person. Get the person out of your relationship because he has a way of distorting you. If you have a friend that is always talking about sex, talking about immorality, talking about boyfriend, talking about partying and all that, and that person is your best friend, he's sowing a seed in your life. You know the story of Lot. Lot was tempted day and night because of the kind of friends that he keeps around him. And those are the things that affected him even after they moved out. The children were used to what they were doing there. They were the one that slept with Lot. Anyway, I'm just saying here, be a bit deliberate about the kind of people that you believe. I use the word unbeliever, like I said, unequally yoked with somebody that does not believe in your philosophy, does not believe in your ideology of life. Separate. Even if the person calls himself a Christian and is having girlfriend and you believe in your own family value, your core value in your family is transparency, and your partner, your friend is telling you, don't tell your husband, don't tell your husband, it's not everything you have to tell your husband. Know that kind of person is an unbeliever. Don't unequally yoke with the person. It's going to affect your marriage. Don't say, it's my friend from childhood. It's my, no. Now that both of you are, be deliberate to make one another. If not, those are the things that will now affect your own marriage. Sometimes they'll be telling you what they do with their own husband, not knowing that they are just telling you what they are not doing. I cannot take it to, my husband cannot talk to me anyhow in their house. The husband is talking to the person anyhow. But they will give us a first stage as if this is, please don't. Other things, two things I need to mention in closing is be careful about money. The love of money, the Bible says, is the root of money, of evil. It's an external factor. So please, you need to be very careful. Don't be extravagant. Don't be flamboyant. Don't have this wrong attitude towards money. It has a way of controlling your emotion. So whatsoever things you have part-time, please be content with it. God will always provide. He has promised you that will take care of you now that you are married. The other part is emotionally connected with opposite sex. Is an external factor. This is one major area that a lot of marriages have been affected. We call it infidelity, right? You see, we all agree immorality is a sin. Please, from now, this is where boundary needs to be set. Please don't be emotionally attached to somebody that is not your spouse. It might start small. They'll be taking your attention, taking your emotion, but it's a gradual process. It's a gradual process. Before you know what's happening, it will affect you later. If somebody call you, is that person that you're always talking to, that person you're always relying, is only best friend that you have, and is not opposite sex. See, a time is coming. Sometimes you as a guy, me, I fall prey of that. As a guy, no string attached. But as a woman, as a lady, sometimes strings are attached. Sometimes the guy is the one that is string is attached. The woman is not string attached. But you don't know what anybody say. Hey, he's my best friend. See, there are times like that emotion will just change. Pew, pew, like that. There will be room for comparison. Akin will not talk like that. Akin that is just my best friend. We not talk like that. We not act like that. And every small thing is Akin we talk to. Tomorrow, Akin said, you're already affected. You are emotionally attached. Some of us are emotionally attached to opposite sex, and you feel that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You cannot manage it. You can't. That's the only place the Bible said we should run away. Others say fight it. The only place it says you should run is sexual sin. Flee all appearance of evil. Flee. It doesn't say you should stay. Don't think you can. I did not flee. I fell. So, and I'm a man of God. So I've learned my own lesson, and I'm telling you all here, don't think you have the capacity to withstand some things. The moment you see that your emotion is attaching, you are getting emotionally attached to somebody that is not your wife. Now that you're getting, please start disconnecting now. Be deliberate. Your marriage is more important. Your fulfillment of destiny is more important. The moment you have an alternative, it will affect you. There is no way. The moment you have an alternative in relation to talking, in relation to these things, it will affect you. You're always chatting with somebody. You don't want to talk to your wife because you're talking with another person. It will affect your marriage. You're not deliberately cultivating your marriage. Shut that other thing and make the marriage thing, make it work. Because all these external forces, external factor has a way of distorting your marriage. I think I need to stop here. Right? I need to stop here. I hope the class makes sense a bit, right? Can you unmute yourself, please? Can I hear a voice?
Yeah, thank you very much. It makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Yes.
Does it make sense? You're not talking. Okay.
Damilare, oh, guilty is guilty. That's why he's not talking. Everything I've said is guilty.
How do you know, sir?
When you are coming, I saw a girl behind you. You are talking, you are looking at the girl.
I don't see.
All right. Fola, Banji, I hope the class is okay.
Makes a lot of sense. A whole lot of sense.
Okay. So this
So much.
this session I just had with you is, like I said, I've had it in the seminar, I've had it in these things, and I still talk to marriages in relation to this. And a lot of marriage, by the time you're married, that is when you understand this particular section. I don't know, Adioye. Mobila?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Share class, I hope it make a little sense, right?
Yes, I spoke earlier. I said yes. Thank you very much, sir.
Adioye, Nko? Where is he?
Beside me.
He doesn't want to talk, Abi.
He's guilty me.
Oh God. You know, there is none of us. All the things I mentioned, there's none of us that will say, I'm innocent. If you are not married, don't worry. By the time you're married, you understand. The in-laws will come. They will talk. They will say some things. And you will make some decisions that you carry out the decision without carrying your partner along. And then she will hear and say, this is my parent. I say I should not do it to my parent. No. What we are saying is, anything you want to do, let's be on the same page. Let's be on the same page.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please.
That's Adeoye's philosophy. I think I'm guilty in that. In that, but that's his philosophy. Yeah, we will be on the same page. Monikilo day. You know, it's as if some things will be choking. Might be my own just for a little, but what he believes is we have to be on the same page on everything.
It's actually good. Today you may not like it may not be convenient, but those are the things that make you to grow together. You may not be convenient with it now, but these are the things that endear you together, because you know that, oh, I trust my partner. My partner is vulnerable, but because there are some things you will do, and if the person gets to know about it, say you're not honest, and then the person would now be withholding information. It's not very ideal. Cultivate it now. You may not like it when you're using your hand to you know, to remove the weeds. You may not like it, but let's together make it work. Marriage
Let
is,
him be more, let him be more patient. Kilo day.
yeah,
It can be very,
yes,
you know.
yes. Adeoye, be patient. So, you hear yourself, right? Okay, so some people will be joining me in a minute because I'm supposed to round up. We are supposed to have a meeting, another meeting, some people. But the bottom line is this, friends. Marriage is sweet, but it will not just drop on your laps. Never. Nothing happens until you make it happen. No marriage is perfect. None. Every home that you say they're enjoying their marriage, no, listen, sacrifice went into it. Though. Sacrifice. I think it was one of the classes that I was talking about conflicts that happen between even men of God. I think I mentioned Jericho or something. Can't remember. Was it one of the classes, right? Recorded one. You know.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm saying in a sense is that they deliberately work on it. For all, every marriage that you see today, somebody that it can say somebody, and they have their own story. They have their own story. When they were cultivating, some things caught their hands, some things, they even used gloves, something they got injured. But that doesn't stop them. At the end of the day, the beautiful garden, the time of watering, the medicine is as if it will not grow, but they will continue, they persist in watering. These are the things that will make your marriage work. If you are not deliberate about it, guys, your marriage will become a mirage. You just look at something that it will look as if, man, it can't work, you know. But I know that marriage can work, and I pray your own marriage will work.